Well, good morning, guys. Walking boxing Thursday, August the 1st. So into a new month, and the Olympics continue on, and success. Finally, 2 out of 3 boxers yesterday getting the nod. Thank God for that, by the way. There's been an awful lot of criticism about the boys and girls, or men and women over there at the moment. I think a little bit unjust, or a little bit unfair. But I'll touch on that just in a sec. But the results didn't start off overly great. We had Shannon Davey. He went down to Rami Mofid Kiwan 5-0. I didn't actually see that one because that was on quite late, I think. No, I did see that one. Sorry. Yes. No. Yeah, good effort. Just probably maybe a little inexperienced. The Kiwan, he boxed pretty well and got the job done. So, yeah, good credible performance by Shannon Davey. I'm sure he'll be better for the experience. Caitlin Parker, the team captain, with a 5-0 win over Citlali Vanessa Ortiz from Mexico. So great win for Caitlin Parker. Great to finally actually get a decision at the Olympics, isn't it? We haven't had one yet. Of course, Teramona won by knockout. He said, stuff the judges, I'm just going to do it myself. So good on him. But yeah, well done to Caitlin Parker. Also, Marcus Amato is a coach. He's actually over there as well, I think. Is he? He's one of the coaches? I'm not sure. But yeah, congratulations to her. And then Charlie Senior with a 4-1 decision over Vasily Usteroy 4-1. So great. And that he was from Belgium. So really good night for the Australian boxers. It's been a tough week so far. And I did actually get a chance to watch the Callum Peters fight. I think I said that yesterday, that he lost by a very, I'm not going to call it a dodgy decision. He lost a close decision. And sometimes it just doesn't go your way. And I get that. It's just that we haven't had a lot of luck from our when we seem to be always on the rough end of the close decisions. But just on that Callum Peters fight, firstly, congratulations, of course, to everyone that the 2 boxers that won last night. So I think that is 9 boxers we've now had, and we've got 3 boxers still in it. So 3 to go. Actually, I better just check to see who's on next. I should have done that before I started. So we have, I think there's only one on tonight. It is the women's 50 kilogram round of fights. Monique Suraki. She's up against Ingrid Lorena Valencia Victoria of Colombia. So that is tonight at 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. And I think that is it. So I'm not quite sure when the other fighters are on, but that is it. So we still have another 2 after that. So again, not quite sure who will be next. But just on that Callum Peters fight for starters, yeah, I did watch that, and look, it was a really, really close fight. Look, it depends on how you score it. I just can't believe, though, that, I mean, that was a cracking right hand that he nailed him with in whatever round that was, and I thought his pressure was great, skill level was great. This guy's going to be a very, very good pro. I think he might be one of those boxers that says, you know what, I tasted the Olympic dream. Travelled the world, did my thing, did my apprenticeship. Now I'm ready to go, and I think this guy will turn pro. I've got a feeling that maybe the boys from No Limit might be knocking on his door when he gets back, because he's a good fighter. And as I said, I can just see him as a pro, as a good pro. Good work rate, works the body really well, up and down, good kid of punches, can obviously punch as well. So, yeah, I think Callum Peters has a big future. Like all the Olympians, they're obviously at the Olympics for a reason. They're some of the best fighters in the world. And I think at some stage they'll all, well, not all, maybe, but you'd think 75-80% of the fighters there would turn pro. Harry Garside, for me, still the asterisk. I'm still to be convinced he'll turn pro unless they throw some dollars at him. I've got to say too, by the way, I didn't mention it, but it's a very, very crisp morning this morning. It's a beautiful day. The sun is out, but it is very icy, very slippery and white here at the moment in the Macedon Ranges, but a beautiful place of the world. I'm actually going to have to switch hands there while I go, because my my hand is getting cold. But and as I said at the start, look, I'm glad that we've had a couple of wins, because there's been a fair, well, there's a few people out there that on different channels and the media and everything else that have probably laid the boots into the Aussies a little bit. And you've got to remember, I said the other day, it's an extremely tough competition. And the conversation comes up, I touched on it the other day, about our success at previous Olympics and Commonwealth Games and everything like that. And we haven't really maybe got any closer to a gold medal in all those years. Well, look back to 1988 and Graham Spike Sheeny won the silver medal. I just think Spike just had one of those tournaments. It just all clicked for him. He found form. He had a great draw, got a bit of momentum, and almost won the first gold for Australia, and was beaten by the Russian in the final. But the question, I suppose, has to be asked: why haven't we, in what's it been, 36 years after that, been able to be in a similar position? The closest, of course, was at the last Olympics with Harry Garside winning bronze. He ran into Andy Cruz in the semis, so no disgrace there, of course. Andy Cruz is an absolute monster at the moment. After 3 fights, I've got no doubt he'll be a world champion. But yeah, it's an interesting one. But all I'll say is that, look, first of all, as I said, it's a very, very tough competition. This is the top 32 boxers in the world, all in the same tournament, all with the same focus, all with the same goal. And just a lot of things have to go right. I mean, there are some exceptions. People like, Lomachenko and these types of guys just win golds for fun. But yeah, it's just everything has to go right, and we'll get there. I mean, here's one for you. The Americans, which have seemed to have dominated boxing for as long as we can remember, in the pros I'm talking about, and even in the amateurs, they haven't won a gold since 2004. Now, this is a country with 365 or 370 million people, or whatever it might be, haven't won a gold medal since 2004. And yes, they've had some great teams in the past, but you just get a feeling that a lot of countries have caught up, especially the Eastern Bloc countries. So put that in perspective. That's 20 years since they've won a gold medal. And we're doing okay with 25 million people here in Australia. And look, you also got to remember too, a lot of those Eastern Bloc countries that do so well at the games, that's all they do. There's not a lot of sports for them to really get the teeth in. A lot of them, especially like the Cubans, the boxing is like their national sport. You look at somewhere like here, it's, we've got all the football codes, and we just have a look at all the other sports we're in at the Olympics at the moment. Holy shit. We're doing pretty well too, by the way. I saw this morning that Jess Fox won her third gold medal, and she's going to go for a fourth. How good is that? I must admit, I haven't really watched a lot of other sports. I'm sort of relying on clips off the internet of a morning, but just more so watching the boxing. But yeah, just back to that, I just think that, well, I don't know. I can't put my finger. One thing I will say is that I think the talent coming through has never been better. I think the participation levels have never been better. I do a little bit of work with a young guy here, little Charlie Thompson. Shout out to you, buddy. Had a good win on the weekend. Talking to his dad, and they're heading up to the Golden Gloves in Queensland. 500 boxers have registered for the Golden Gloves in Queensland. That tells you all you need to know about participation rates in Australia. And that's, I know there's the other females and that in there now, but I just think it's never been stronger. And eventually someone will break our duck, but it's just so competitive. Take it from me. And again, I can't 100% put my finger on it, but I've just got no doubt that with the systems in place, they seem to be getting some more overseas coaches involved. So, no doubt, as I said, at some stage we will get a medal. On the female side of things, I had a bit of feedback yesterday, all positive, I will say, about this this situation with the biological men fighting in the women's divisions. Support was really good, actually. Most people, well, nearly actually everyone agree with me, and it actually got boxing in the, well, more so in the news cycle yesterday. I saw it was all over most news sites. A lot of people having their say, a lot of YouTubers as well. I'm sure there'll be podcasters and whatever it might be, all having their say. Just get Neil there. There's another dog behind us there. And quite rightfully so. And I think the common thread has been is that, hey, we understand the landscape at the moment, the way of the world and everything else. And I said yesterday, people can identify as whatever the hell they want, and that's great, but they should not be able to compete against biological females. Identify as a male, dress as a female, do whatever you want, but you shouldn't be allowed to compete. But anyway, I've covered that enough. Just a couple other things. Things are sort of boiling a little bit in the boxing scene here in Australia. I see that Koa Mazudia and Michael Zerafa are now at it. Koa, of course, is fighting Nikita. He's got something a bit more on his plate to worry about than Zerafa, but you can sort of see the storyline here. It's almost like a WWE sort of thing, isn't it? Where you can see that the foundations are being laid, that if they win, maybe if Cohen puts up a really good fight, maybe he'll fight Zerafa next. Or possibly even, you can see the end game is getting Nikita and Zerafa, but a few shenanigans there. I think it's quite funny, and look, I think it's good. It's good for the fighters to sort of talk it up amongst themselves. The other one I did see too was Isaac Hardman and Brock Jarvis. They're having a little bit of beef as well, and I'm actually really intrigued to see how Brock Jarvis goes at the heavier weight. We know Isaac Hardman, he's fought right up to light heavyweight, campaigned at super middleweight, and now he's down to middleweight in his natural division. Not quite sure where Isaac's at the moment, and I don't know why, because he's great for Australian boxing. He's pure entertainment value. I love his press conferences. I love everything about Isaac, his social media, everything like that. But he just can't seem to get a fight lined up at the moment. He's obviously parted ways with No Limit. I'm not quite sure what happened. I think it was just more about opportunity and maybe just exploring his options. That's fine, that happens. But the Brock Jarvis situation, I must admit, does intrigue me. Brock Jarvis is a very good fighter. Yes, I know he got starched by Liam Paro, but he's a good fighter, and I'm really intrigued to see how he goes at 160. He has bitten back at Isaac, so let's see if we get that fight down the track, and that could be maybe a No Limit fight down some way down the way as well. But I think it's just good to see the Aussies in a good way. Even Cohen and Zerafa yesterday, they had a few barbs at each other, and of course the social media and everyone picks it up and runs with it, and I just think it adds a little bit of spice, maybe adds a little bit for the pay-per-views, and I know that's what it's about, I get that. But the Hardman and Jarvis fight is intriguing as well. So look, guys, I think that's about it for today. Not a hell of a lot going on. Just sort of touch a little bit on the Olympics again. We'll have another chat about that tomorrow, and I'll cover the big fight this weekend as well with Terence Crawford and Israel Madrimov. We'll go through the card and get a few predictions as well. So that's it. Have a great day. We'll catch you tomorrow.